After a much maligned bye week, the second bye week here at the DFS Deli, and after many technical difficulties, we are back for week 10 to break down the main slate plays in this early look on a cool, crisp Wednesday night here in Cleveland, Ohio. So pull up a chair, grab your favorite adult beverage, and if you don't drink, sip on some water and sit back, relax. It's the DFS Deli coming at you right now. Welcome in to the DFS Deli. I am the proprietor of this delicatessen, Sully Ali Shahid, and we here, as a kind and generous boss, I have given half the staff the night off for Veterans Day this weekend. So it's just me and you, chill. I'm happy to
All
be
right.
here. Talk some week 10 football. Now, full disclosure, we did talk about week 9. It just uploaded because of, again, technical difficulties, but we're here, we're back, and I'm ready to break down what seems to be a better slate. 4 games over a 44 total this week, so it's going to be an interesting one for sure. So as first things first, chill, how's everything going, man?
I mean, it's going good. I had a pretty decent week 9 there. I was on CJ Stroud, so that helped. I didn't play him with the full onslaught, but most of the lineups were double stacks, and it was really hard to get wrong. I don't even think you could get it wrong. Um, so,
Nico Collins,
I mean, Nico still had a good game.
he was just okay compared to his other targets.
That is true, but either way, so it was pretty good. Unfortunately, in those lineups, I didn't have the running backs right, so they weren't as as profitable as what they could have been. But it was a good week. Yeah. So again, it was just a lot of Stroud, so I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a lot of Dak, so I had a decent week on DraftKings. But as far as FanDuel goes, FanDuel's algorithm, like I've been complaining about for a couple weeks now, is absolutely absurd. Like I don't understand some of these prices. So it's like, so this week, for example, is and we'll get there, position by position. Of course, that's what we do here on the DFS Deli. But they gave us Tony Pollard for free, right? Like I get the matchup, the production has been absolutely terrible. And then he gets the Giants this week and they jack up his price. Like I just don't understand. What are y'all thinking? Like if he's not producing, he's not producing. I get you get a little matchup bump, but like you gave him to it for free last week, and this week they're like, nah, fam, you got to pay for this Giants matchup. So I'm a little upset. I'm not gonna lie to you, but
I mean, they were playing. They were playing the Eagles. Nobody runs on the Eagles.
yeah, but I get it. But at the same, like the dude was priced near like a bunch, like Zach Moss was more expensive than Tony Pollard was last week. There was just a lot going on FanDuel. But I think they kind of brought it down just a little bit this week. So lineups are a little easier. But yeah, DraftKings, man. DraftKings algorithm has been pretty legit so far. So, but we'll break it down. You know how we do. We go position by position, break it down our favorite plays on this early look on a Wednesday evening. And as you can see by my shirt, it's the video version of this. If you're not subscribed on YouTube, why don't you come on over and do that for us? But I got my Geno Smith shirt on, and I think my other deli mate over here is all about some Geno Smith this week. So why don't
I
we get
do.
into it? We'll start at quarterback and kind of massage the slate a little bit and see where we're looking. So where are you starting at quarterback this week, Chill?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of mentioned it. I like a lot of quarterbacks in the 4 p.m. window. Um, so I mean, basically, I'm just gonna name them off. You got Herbert going up against Goff. Um, I understand it. It's road Goff, but it's a dome game. There may be more Lions fans there than Chargers fans. Um, so again, and it's in a plus matchup too. The Chargers defense. I'm not going to take anything that they did seriously against the pathetic Jets on Monday night.
Whoa,
Uh,
whoa, whoa, whoa. The pathetic Zach Wilson. Okay. The
okay,
Jets
Zach
are
Wilson.
bad. It's Zach Wilson. That guy stinks.
oh, brother, this guy stinks.
Exactly. That guy is so bad at
Um,
football. I don't understand.
And I mean, and plus the Chargers. This may be the highest total game on the slate. Correct me if I'm wrong.
If not, it's close to it. It's
Yeah,
one of the 4 games people are going to gravitate towards. So you got San Fran and Jacksonville. Of course, in the early window, it looks like the Bengals Houston matchup is probably going to be another game that everybody's looking at. So I mean, one of those 3 to 4 matchups are going to be around the same total. And again, a lot of the ownership's going to kind of migrate towards those matchups. So yeah, you're definitely we got the hammer. They're in the hammer spot. So late swaptions are plenty when it comes to that. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
yeah. On the other side of that, I do like Justin Herbert. Detroit does do a good job of shutting down the run. If you do want to beat the Lions, it's going to be through the air. We've seen this time after time. We saw Lamar carve him up. We saw Gino carve him up. Again, to beat the Lions, you're going to do it through the air. They are second in the NFL against the run, essentially for the yards per attempt there. So, I mean, I like Austin Eckler ain't going to be able to do anything on the ground, So he might be worth a look here on DraftKings. We'll kind of get into that once we get into the running back plays. But I do like those two. The Washington Commanders, they can't stop nobody on defense. So if you actually want to make a case to play either one of these quarterbacks, because believe it or not, did you know Sam Howell is second in the league in passing yards?
Yep, I knew that. I did know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's crazy. So honestly, if you want to make an argument to play either one of these quarterbacks, Gino or Sam Howell, again, I totally understand it. I'm gonna be on the Gino side of things. They got absolutely waxed in Baltimore, and nobody plays Seahawks ever.
No,
Um,
no, they
no,
don't,
no.
and they
So
won't.
and they won't. Um, Again, taking a look here. So I mean, I do like those quarterbacks here a lot. Trying to think if I can be convinced. And then one guy, and then my dart throw gross quarterback will be Will Levis.
First of all, all right. Have you seen Will Levis play these past 2 games? The
He's been
dude
doing
is a
great.
baller. Like, the dude could absolutely fling a football. Like, the flick of the wrist with this dude is absolutely absurd.
And
So
at least he understands to fucking chuck it to DeAndre Hopkins.
yes, yes, yes. DeAndre Hopkins, not last week, but the week before, his 3 touchdown breakout game, he actually became one of my favorite receivers because he went on X and basically, did that. I think it was on Instagram when he did it. Basically said, they tried to write me off. I'm feeling like Gino. And I was just like,
Oh yeah,
you are my guy.
I
You're
remember
my
when he
guy.
said that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. That's my cat right now. That's my
but yeah,
dog.
going up against this Buccaneers defense, where they, again, I don't know if they're still going to be without their top corner, but the Buccaneers all year, again, I don't know if I want to use pass funnel per se, but this has been another team you could pass on. You had the Chargers and Bucks who are both, respectively last and second last in yards, uh, passing yards per game defensively. So they both give up a lot here through the air. But those are the quarterbacks I'm going to be taking a look at. Um, you know, we talk about some of these premier matchups. You know, I like CJ Stroud, but like, what CJ Stroud are we getting? Are we getting the 5 touchdown a game CJ Stroud, or am I getting the CJ Stroud that couldn't do shit against the Panthers?
I think you want to chalk that up as an outlier, like when the Chiefs lost to the Broncos. That's what we like to call an outlier.
But
So I'm gonna throw that one out the window.
at least I could chalk that up to like Pat Mahomes was sick,
No, I was just gonna say outlier performance, and
and
then not put that on the record.
T Swift wasn't in the Mile High City.
Thank God.
She was in Germany. They won.
I
All because
mean,
my Dolphins can't feel the snap.
hey, listen, I'm just glad that the Chiefs aren't on the main slate. They're on bye. I don't have to hear Taylor Swift anything this week, so that's a blessing.
I mean, and
So
they won't be on next week's slate either because they had a Monday night game.
yes, and the foul. I like to
They're
hear that.
uh they're playing Philly.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Oh, good Monday night game.
crazy.
Say what?
Are you ready for this Sunday night game of Jets at Raiders? Or how about tomorrow's national matchup of of Panthers or Bears at Panthers?
Bruh.
Hey, listen, at least I get to see Secret
Secret,
Agent Man on prime time for the second time in 11 days, okay?
bro. Right.
That's right, baby. That's right.
These are, and then was it the Monday night game? I think is it's Broncos at Bills or Bills at Broncos. I don't remember which way it's
I don't
going.
remember, but it doesn't matter. It's the Bills and Broncos. Like,
At least that
it's the Broncos.
at least that one's not bad. Like I could watch that one.
I'm watching tomorrow. I mean, again, I'm a Secret Agent Man fan. So old Uncle T Bags, that's my boy right there. And I'll be at bowling anyway, so I mean, I gotta watch them. But we digress. We'll hit back to the main slate here. I am very interested to get your opinion on where ownership is gonna shake out because right in the same price tier, you got Joe Burrow and CJ Stroud, right? Same game. We all saw what CJ Stroud did last week. So I feel like a lot of people, A, are going to get on that because of chasing. B, I think people realize that Joe Burrow is quote unquote back now. And Houston, they got beat up a little bit by Baker Mayfield. So it's like, will the ownership go to that or will they see other plus matchups with we saw like we get the Cowboys in a very, very plus matchup going against the hapless Giants, now that they've lost their quarterback. I mean, even before they lost Daniel Jones, they were trash. But and then of course, like you alluded to, we got this Detroit and Chargers game where if you want to play Herbert, you got to pay for Herbert. Him and his pass catchers minus Quentin Johnson are expensive. So if you want to stack that game, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. Whereas the Cincinnati side in the earlier game, their fight, T. Higgins got a hamstring injury now. Jamar Chase with his back injury. So you might even get cheaper pieces in this game in order to stack up because it's a lot easier to stack up Cincinnati, Houston than it is Detroit and the Chargers. A lot easier. So you look at that premier matchup, and then when you go down to San Francisco, Jacksonville in another high total game, will people levitate to the quarterbacks in that game, or will they go to the skill position players because the skill position players in that game are also expensive? So you're going to have to make sacrifices. If you're going to be in the Jacksonville, San Francisco game, you're probably not going to be in the Chargers game. You're going to be in the Cincy Houston game. You're probably not going to be in the Jacksonville game. So it's a lot of different ways that you could go. And I think ownership is going to be, I don't want to say even or spread out, but I think like there's probably 2 or 3 quarterbacks that the field is going to gravitate to. And we have Lamar on the slate, period. So like my initial thoughts about Lamar Jackson is because in the first Cleveland matchup, because he was on the field the entire game, he put up over 24 DraftKings points. Like he lit up Cleveland. So you're thinking these past 2 weeks, he's been burnt by Gus Edwards, basically. So are people getting off the Lamar train and they see this all-world defense that just got a shutout against another hapless team in the Arizona Cardinals? Are people going to be willing to bite that bullet to play Lamar? Or is this a week where no one's going to play Lamar and you can get Lamar at like sub 5, and then this is the time to actually play Lamar Jackson? So I kind of want to get your thoughts on where do you think the field's going to go with ownership?
I don't think they're going to be playing Lamar. My best guess is that the field goes to Stroud and Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow's coming off of the prime time Sunday night game, and I mean you can make a case. I know we joke around about this, but like Joe Burrow been having a little bit of a rushing floor there, huh?
A little, I mean, the calf is feeling pretty good.
Bit.
That's a little rushing floor, a little rushing.
Yeah,
he doesn't have Tyson Bagent rushing floor,
right.
but
like
he doesn't have Josh Dobbs rushing floor,
no.
But yeah.
But no, I think it's going to be those two. I don't think people are going to play Lamar Jackson because again they're going to see the Browns, and like Lamar burnt a lot of people last week
and the week before.
and the week before. So like I think people are going to be off of Lamar. These quarterbacks, and you usually with maybe Philadelphia and Washington being the exception, um, it's again, this is the second time these two teams are meeting. It's a division game. The quarterbacks like scoring tends to be down a little bit. The Browns will have Deshaun Watson back in this game because remember they basically started what's his face like 30 seconds before the game started.
Oh, the DTR game. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So like again, this game should be a little bit more balanced. I don't see Lamar being on the field the whole time like he was before. So for me personally, as of today, I would say it's an easy fade for me for Lamar. In terms of ownership, I think it's going to be with Stroud, Burrow, and probably Dak. That's my guess because like for a lot of people, a lot of people don't for whatever reason. People do not like to play Jared Goff. People do not like to play Gino, and like they like playing Justin Herbert's pass catchers without Justin Herbert.
This is true. And I mean, I think it's going to be the same thing this week because I'm not paying top flight money for Justin Herbert. I'm just not doing it. I would rather go down to Burrow and Stroud and eat the chalk than go up to Herbert. Like, I just can't see myself getting there. And I mean, the Lions are tough, man. Like, we saw Justin Herbert do nothing in the Jets game. I mean, he didn't have to do anything. Don't get me wrong. He didn't have to do anything. But I mean, Zach Wilson had over 100 more passing yards than Justin Herbert, and this is the guy I'm talking about. That's the most expensive quarterback on the slate. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
and I
good.
mean this line's defense is pretty legit. I mean, again, they stop the run. Like the only team that stops the run better than them is Philadelphia, and Philadelphia is in a tier of their own when it comes to stopping the run. Like, and that's not even a debatable point. They are middle of the road against the pass. Um, Again, if you figure that the Chargers are going to be playing from behind, um, then I understand the logic with Herbert. If that's how you're gonna go with the script, right? That they're behind and they're gonna have to throw and they can't even run the ball even in a neutral game script. So I can at least get the idea there, but as of today, kind of how I'm looking at you know the guys here. Again, Gino. I love that Gino Commanders game. The stackable options in that game are cheap on both sides. They're still pretty cheap. So, I mean, that's the game I probably like here the most. And then probably follow that up. It's probably Jared Goff for me. They're coming off the bye, I do believe. So, um, Amon-Ra St. Brown is pretty expensive, but
But he's automatic, bro.
he is
He's
he's
automatic.
he's pretty automatic. I mean, Sam Laporta is not that expensive. He's 5,700, which I consider to still be pretty cheap for him and for his output.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
agree. It's very,
I
very
I mean, the
affordable.
only thing that may concern me on the Lions side is uh like their running back situation again. I think David Montgomery is going to be back for this game.
Yep, he practiced in
Uh,
full today. Everything looks like full systems go for him.
so again, that would be the only thing if Detroit wants to come out and run the ball. I mean, the Chargers do have a pretty good run defense, but that may only be because like their pass defense is horrendous. Again, anything against Zach Wilson. I mean, I understand Bosa and Khalil Mack were getting wet, but this Lions offensive line is really good, and the Jets is not. Um, so I'm probably gonna go with Goff. So if I'm gonna rank them this week, so for me it's probably Gino. I like Goff. If I like Goff, I think that automatically kind of puts me to Herbert as well. Um, and then after that, maybe probably Will Levis if I want to get a little tricky. And then it could be. And then I'm looking at either Stroud, Burrow, or Sam Howell.
Yeah, I don't play too many quarterbacks because I don't play too many lineups. So right now it's Stroud's number one, then Burrow, then if I want to get frisky, either it's going to be Will Levis or if Lamar Jackson is low owned, I will play Lamar stacks. If he somehow catches steam, I'm out. I'm good.
So I got a question because I don't know what this gentleman's ownership would be at, but um, if you're willing to play Lamar Jackson, why not just play Josh Dobbs against the Saints?
See, if I made a lot of lineups, Josh Dobbs would definitely be in consideration. Like
Because
he's getting acclimated with the playbook a little more now. I mean, like what he did in that backup role and coming back from that deficit
remarkable.
was right. Wow. Like props to him. Like good on Josh Dobbs. But again, yeah, another week with I would feel I would feel more comfortable if Jay Jetta was back this week. He's not. He's officially out this week again. But yeah, it's like if you had Jetta, I would definitely consider running some stacks.
If Jetta was back, I think I would be locking in Josh Dobbs. Does this guy love throwing to his tight end or what?
Yeah, man. I mean, we'll get there, but I think TJ Hawkinson might be the chalk.
I mean,
might be the chalk.
again, like kudos to Dobbs here, but like that might be somebody I might be looking at later in the week. That might be a Saturday take.
Yeah. Think about it. Dwell on it. Dwell on it a
Yeah,
little bit.
I mean,
See,
because
see how
like
you feel.
I mean, and like the sacking options are simple with Dobbs.
Yeah, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison. Move on.
Move on, and they're cheap. Well, Addison's pretty cheap. He's 5,900 on DK.
Oh yeah, that's very, very affordable. Very affordable. All right, let's switch over to running back here and CMC back in our lives, back on the slate. If you ain't 10K, you can play him. Sitting at 9,200 against Jacksonville. Jacksonville, middle of the road against the run. So anytime you see CMC on a slate, he does still have that touchdown streak going for him. So I think that if you can get up to him, kudos. But I think it's I think this week for me personally, it's what the Swolecast likes to deem us as slappies. And I'm slapping it up this week, chill.
Oh yeah,
It's Joe Mixon week. It's Tony Pollard week. And I'm moving on. You can say what you want, but they got to get this running game right at some point, okay, in Dallas if they want to be able to, compete with the rest of the teams in the West that they have to, or I'm sorry, the NFC that they have to go against. And no, you can't run on the Eagles, but Tony Pollard hasn't scored since week 1. It is now week 10.
you know you remember who he played in week 1, right?
You want to remind me, Chill?
The Giants.
So
would I be considered
a
a slappy for burning more money on Bijan Robinson against the Cardinals?
Yes. Do not play Bijan Robinson. Remember, Arthur Smith hates you. He hates you. He hates everybody that plays daily fantasy football. He does not care about your fantasy team. He does not care about using his top 10 picks in an efficient manner. He does not care about you, and nor does he care about winning. He deserved every bit of that loss last week. Give the fucking ball to Bijan freaking Robinson. He ran an end around to the backup tight end on the goal line. Like, you deserve to lose, sir. You're an idiot. But yes, I think Bijan Robinson is appropriately priced, but his workload still isn't enough for us to say we need to play this guy. Like, if I lose a slate to Bijan Robinson, I will hold that L. So he needs like 12 touches, and he needs to make the most with those touches because he has one inside the 5 carry this year. One. So it's like, I'm trusting you. I don't care. I can't do it. I can't. Yes, you're absolutely right, Chill. That is the slappy play by playing Bijan Robinson.
I might do it, bro. At this point, I've already burnt enough money on the guy.
Just stop the bleeding. Just stop the bleeding, bro. Again, man, it's our one time a year we get to be confident in playing Joe Mixon. One time. We saw what Rashard White did against them. He got in the box twice. We know that this pass game is a little banged up. If you don't want to go to the Burrow side of it for the pass game, just go to the running game. Houston is susceptible to the run. Again, I'm going to throw that Carolina game out the window. Okay, I'm I'm just going to take it and throw it out the window. But the other games that we've seen Houston involved in, their running backs, they get to Houston on the ground. So again, there's no more guaranteed over workload in the NFL than Joe Mixon. The dude does not leave the field at all. And again, this is the one time in the year where he inflates his fantasy numbers to make him seem relevant
You're
because
not
that guy
wrong.
sucks. He sucks. But it's always 1 to 2 times a year where we see Joe Mixon fuck up an entire slate. I think this is the week, man. So why don't we just load up some Joe Mixon, get Tony Pollard in your flex, put him at 4 o'clock, let him beat up on the Giants, get that running game going. And then if you want to use a third running back at some point, that's fine. But again, I'm sticking to those two. And if I have enough salary, I will get up to CMC because CMC every week. Why not? But I would say he's a better play on DraftKings at 9-2 than he is on FanDuel at 10-5.
Yeah, and I mean, I find that to be I mean, like, I understand, but like the Jaguars are number 3 in the NFL against the run. Like, and I understand CMC at this point may just be matchup proof, and
He's automatic, yeah.
I totally get it, but at the same time, I would rather just pay down for Eckler.
Sure.
I mean, especially on DraftKings, because like we saw. I mean, against the Bears, I think he caught 6 or 7 balls for over 100 yards receiving. He did nothing on the ground. Against the Jets, he had 2 rushing touchdowns, but like he also had 7 targets.
You'll always have that, yeah.
Like, and especially with Mike Williams being out for the year, like Justin Herbert is throwing to 2 people. It's Austin Eckler or he's throwing to Keenan Allen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so at this point, I would feel more comfortable with fading CMC and then playing Eckler. I think just for the savings, because at this point, like they're both in pretty tough matchups. Both the Jags and 49ers are coming off of a bye. So it's not even like one team has the advantage in that situation. So, I mean, I'd rather pay for Eckler than CMC, I think.
Yeah, I mean, see, that's the thing. Like, so yeah, that's at Jacksonville, so they play at 1. I was gonna say it's a late swap option, but like, no, Austin Eckler does play in the 4 o'clock window, so it's like, I don't know. There's a couple running backs I can say for me are probably completely off the board. Obviously, Saquon disqualified because he plays for the Giants. He's gonna get the workload, but like, you're not going into Dallas with freaking
No.
Tommy DeVito, right? Is that his name?
I mean, Saquon's he's gonna get a lot of touches. I don't know what the production's gonna look like.
I mean, that is 1,000% late swap only because no one is playing Saquon Barkley this week. Should they.
No.
Nor should they.
No, if you need the late swap something, you just switch to a Giant. Like, that's it.
0? Like, no, it's not gonna happen.
That's it. I mean, but you mentioned a lot of good plays here. You know, again, you mentioned Pollard. I like that call. It's a good take. You know, taking a look here, you mentioned Joe Mixon. I do like the Joe Mixon take this week. Again, I'll just be that guy. I do like Bijan. I'll keep going back to the well. You know, I need a new ride or die since I love, Henry Ruggs. I don't got him anymore, so Bijan. It's going to work, damn it. And then, kind of taking a look here at some of these other guys. I mentioned the Seattle guys, but we did see Ramondre Stevenson rip off a big run against Washington here. Washington is very young up front. They did get rid of 2 linemen defensively. We do know Seattle may tend to, if they do get a lead, they do want to run. So I do like Ken Walker this week. He does have an injury that we'll have to monitor. He didn't practice Wednesday due to a chest injury. So
that's your late swap right there. That's your late swap. Ain't nobody playing Ken Walker.
I agree 100%.
Zach Charbonnet is going to come to his work and blah, blah, blah. No, listen, man. Pete Carroll is a chess player, okay? He's going to win this game by playing just enough, doing just enough to win the game. Ken Walker is predicated on his explosive runs. As you already said, as you alluded to, we saw Ramondre get wet with a long one. This is what Ken Walker does. He's a long, explosive runner. So if we can get a couple of those this game, again, if you're on Tony Pollard, which he's going to be popular, if you're on Tony Pollard and your 1 o'clock people are have failed, Ken Walker is the guy you need to swap to. Just, it's right there. So, yes, like you said, he has a chest injury to monitor. If Charbonnet becomes available, like Ken Walker somehow sits, which you probably won't. He never practices, it doesn't seem. Yeah, I mean, Charbonnet is automatically going to be the chalk. So, I mean, whatever. But again, if Walker plays, that's the late swap. Don't play Saquon. Just don't play Saquon, please.
I mean, if we're just going down the list here, ETN's going up against San Francisco. San Francisco, again, known to have a really good rush defense. At this point, you beat San Francisco through the air. We saw Burrow. We saw our first cousin. We saw these guys absolutely destroy San Francisco through the air. So that's the way to beat them. Maybe the biggest question on this slate is this Detroit backfield. You figure it's probably going to be split again.
Yeah, I think Dan Campbell came out and said basically both the guys deserve work. So it's going to be probably what they were doing before, like their goal line back. It's not Gibbs. Okay. So he's going to be based off his explosive plays, the passing game work. Like, you're not going to see 30 touches from Montgomery ever again, probably, because he already seen what Jahmyr Gibbs can do. So, again, Dan Campbell has already came out and said that both guys deserve the amount of work. So that's going to be an ownership play for me specifically. So let's say Gibbs is the more popular one. I'm going to Montgomery. If Montgomery is the more popular one, I'm going to Gibbs. Simple as that. So if I have one of these Lions backs slotted into one of my like main lineups and I'm waiting for 4 o'clock, I'm going to play the ownership game depending on, again, what happens at 1 o'clock to see if I need to swap off one of them to the other. Because against the Chargers, somebody's probably going to be productive in this backfield. The Lions want to run the ball. And that's just what they do, especially with road Goff, So, I mean, if the Lions are going to be running the ball here, it's going to be one of these two. And I think it just boils down to ownership because both of them, as Jahmyr Gibbs has proved, since the absence, he's capable of putting up big games.
He absolutely destroyed the Raiders on Monday Night Football.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, if we can get some similar production to that, even with him splitting this backfield now, again, it's probably just going to be based off ownership for me. So, coin flip as of today because the prices are eerily similar on both sites. So, it's like you're not gaining an advantage price-wise on one or the other. So, it's like, just play the ownership game when it comes to the Lions backfield this week, I think, if you're going to play one of those guys.
Yeah, and then I think the gross take that this is so gross. It'll be a Saturday take, but I'll just bring it up now.
Just say Aaron Jones.
He's got injury concern.
He's always injured. That's another dude that don't practice.
I just read it. Was limited due to a hamstring.
Yeah, it's the same damn hamstring. He's a veteran. He's not going to practice.
So you were in the right game, just the wrong backfield. Najee Harris.
Do I need a wellness check? Do I need to send somebody to do a wellness check on you?
Najee Harris is 4,900.
Ain't no fucking way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
Dude, the Packers. Hey, the Packers' run defense is not good. We did see Najee get a pretty good workload in that Thursday night game against Houston. We've seen the Packers be susceptible to the run. The last game doesn't count. The Rams had Brett Rippon.
Brett Rippon. My dude went out and started an NFL game and the next week got cut. Like, that's how bad he was. How do you get from starter to cut, Colt McCoy? How do you do that?
Right. So if I need a pay down option, I may consider it. but that's kind of the gross take I have to kind of mull over till Saturday.
Yeah, but
Because
then you got. Go
I,
ahead.
I like either one. Like I could be convinced to play either one, Jalen Warren or Najee.
I was just about to say, all the Najee Harris owners, if somebody's willing to play him, Jalen Warren's going to come out the woodwork like,
surprise, motherfucker,
and just steal everything from him. So I'm good.
Facts.
I'm good.
But, I mean, again, the game's in Pittsburgh as well. So if it were in Green Bay, if it were in Green Bay, I wouldn't even consider it. But it's in Pittsburgh. They're coming off of the mini bye, quote unquote, and they were able to run against Tennessee. Like we know Pittsburgh wants to run the ball. Period.
Well, Kenny Pickett can't throw, so
not until the fourth quarter. In the fourth quarter, a guy becomes fucking god.
Hey man, tell me why CJ Stroud has more career touchdowns than Kenny Pickett.
Bruh, right? Well, if Kenny Pickett played all his games in the fourth quarter, that'd be different.
Fair. Well, we play 4 quarters in this game, chill. So does Kenny Pickett. He should try that one game.
He really only plays 1 quarter, and it is the fourth.
All right, let's slide over to wide receiver real quick. Again, we already mentioned the Bengals guys with a couple of injuries we need to monitor. T. Higgins came up with a hamstring injury today at practice, and Jamar Chase with that back from last game. I mean, T. Higgins would have been probably the highest owned receiver on the slate if it wasn't for this injury. We don't know the status of Jamar Chase, but if Jamar Chase sits and T. Higgins plays, I think it's still going to be the same case where people are just going to lock in T. Higgins, which makes the Joe Mixon take that much better. So I hope that's the scenario. But we already mentioned that the Sun God is as automatic as they come for the most part. And you still got guys that have been tearing up slates lately, as in one CeeDee Lamb. Again, I don't know how necessary he's going to be in this game. I don't know if he warrants this $8,500 price tag. I mean, his production certainly says yes. But in this particular matchup, I don't know if I can see another slate breaking performance because I don't think they're going to need him. And then obviously you have the all of the Houston Texans guys, because again, you're probably not going to be able to see them run the ball at all. So all of them are on the table. And a couple interesting options when it comes to the cheap end. When we already mentioned Will Levis earlier, so I mean, is Nuck back enough for us to consider him? And then, like you alluded to, Chill, earlier, with San Francisco just kind of being torn up through the air, we have all the Jacksonville guys that are relatively cheap in these matchups. So I'm kind of leaning towards that group of guys, and then kind of narrowing it down from there. But I kind of want to get your lean on it. Where are you kind of starting? Because you already mentioned that you like Gino, so you must like some of his pass catchers.
Oh, absolutely. Both of the Seahawks guys are definitely in play. I'll take all 3 at this point. If you want to play Metcalf, Lockett, or JSN, I totally get it. Much like if you're going to go to the other side of that ball, you want to get cheap. Jahad Dotson is still pretty much free right now on DraftKings. He's coming in with a very cool price tag of, let me look this up. He's $5K. Again, Washington doesn't even run the ball. Eric Bieniemy just basically is trying to show people that it's not Pat Mahomes. I mean, this guy's getting it done with Sam Howell in terms of a production standpoint. You already mentioned the Houston guys. I like the Bengals guys more if Chase sits. Like, if you want to give me Tyler Boyd or T. Higgins with Chase out, I could get behind that.
Or you could just play Joe Mixon.
Oh, Joe Mixon's gonna be in there.
Yay. Don't play any of his tight ends.
Facts.
We mentioned it before we started getting on the air. Tanner Hudson, and what was the other bum that he threw to?
We have Drew Sample.
Yeah, Drew Sample. Yeah. Oh God.
Irv Smith is still a thing.
Irv Smith tilted my face off. That was when I was at your house, and he dropped that right on the goal line when Joe Burrow was about to throw 3 first half touchdowns, and he fumbles.
Right
on the goal line. I'm like, bro. All right. Never again.
the only Tennessee wide receiver that I'm playing is Nook. Uh, Again, his price tag is still pretty affordable at 6K going up against this Tampa defense that, again, absolutely just got cooked. Again, Will Levis just chucks the ball down the field and prays.
Well, chill. One of the chalkiest receivers probably on the slate is going to be in this game. You realize without Treylon Burks and Nick Westbrook-Ikini, you realize that Kyle Phillips is $3,000?
Bruh.
Yeah. Oh, he will be owned. If there's a 3K crapper this week that's actually viable, it's Kyle Phillips. People will play Kyle Phillips this week. So just forewarning you. I don't know what you're going to get out of him, but what do you need at 3K for potentially a starting receiver?
He had 4 receptions on 5 targets for 68 yards.
He's 3K, bro.
That's it. That's all you need.
He's gonna be last week's due for the Patriots that I told everybody not to play, but I couldn't record it.
Demario Douglas.
Don't play him. I would rather play Kyle Phillips.
I'd rather play.
I think I get behind that. Hey man, Will Levis is a dog. I like him, man. I like him.
And then let's not sit here and forget, like, Tennessee's pass defense is any good either. I think both of the Bucs wide receivers are viable options as well. If you want to play Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, I get it. I probably lean more towards Evans. But either one, I think is totally fine in this game. Are you a squeaky wheel type of guy?
You know I'm about the wheel gets the grease, baby. Who are you talking about?
It's George Pickens.
That dude. What is wrong with? He wanted to be freed, and then you're the one that didn't drag your foot, asshole. I mean, that was on you.
Yeah. So I mean, again, if you're the squeaky whale narrative, George Pickens, again, he's pretty cheap. If you're on the narrative street there.
I think he's going to squeaky wheel his way out of the damn lineup is what's going to happen. Freaking Kenny Pickett can't throw already. So, I mean, where are we going to be at? Like, sans Aaron Jones, I don't want to play this game. Like, that might be a complete scratch off for me. I don't want anybody from either side in this game.
Are you,
I'm good.
How's your revenge narrative taking a look?
Listen, chill. If I'm playing some low-owned Lamar, you best believe OBJ is going to be in that stack, okay? In the revenge game. He didn't play the first Cleveland game, right? He was hurt?
I believe so.
Yeah, he was hurt that first game, so he actually didn't get to extract proper revenge. So, yes. I know he's got an injury now, but that's veteran type crap. He don't practice. So.
Right.
But he got in the box last week. It probably maybe it took him a week to get going. We know, I try to advise people about the Zay Flowers crap. It has to stop. The dude is always over-owned on every slate, and he does absolutely nothing. Listen, I get the talent. I completely get it. But the production has to meet the talent at some point, and it just ain't there. The dude has scored 1 touchdown in his life and didn't come on American soil, I do believe. So, like, stop. I'm good. A hard pass.
Yeah,
Stop.
and then truthfully, depending on injury here, if you want a 3K crapper, Curtis Samuel and Jamison Crowder are both below 4K.
How much is Pringle?
Byron Pringle. Yeah. He's the min.
There you go.
So if you want to play one of these Washington guys, I get it.
Hard pass. I'm just gonna play Kyle Phillips and call it a day.
I like the Kyle Phillips take.
I'm just gonna play Kyle Phillips. I'm just going to do it. I'm just gonna do it.
And then it does look like JSN was a non-participant as well due to a hip injury.
Yeah, I mean, we'll find out more on Thursdays. Like I said, it's tough to gauge injuries on Wednesdays because a lot of players take off on Wednesdays. So that does make a lot of sense. But I think, like, as far as severity goes, only big one I think we're waiting on is probably Jamar Chase. So
right,
we'll see.
But I will say if JSN's out, I don't mind firing up me some Bobo.
Dude, Jake Bobo is legit. I like Jake Bobo. That's the homie right there. Some Jake Bobo.
but I'm just trying to take a look here, looking at some of these other wide receivers. I mean, Debo's back.
Yeah, Debo's back, which makes Brock Purdy that much better to play.
I mean, that means George Kittle just
he's gonna hit the meme with the dude, the black dude disappearing.
That's it. I mean, once Debo's in, man, that dude's stats.
George Kittle pieces out.
Yeah, he suffers.
Hey man, that's on Brock Purdy though. I mean, we'll see if he can bounce back. They got the bye to figure things out, so it might be more competitive than I think people are leading on. I mean, Jacksonville is a good team, but I think San Francisco can bounce back in this one. I don't know. So I want pieces of this game. Like, I really like Christian Kirk in this game. I truly do. I think that Brandon Ayuk is always solid, but I don't want to say overpriced, but he's in a tier where it makes you think, right? Like, I could go below this and get the Seahawks guys or something like that. Or I can go all the way up and just get CeeDee Lamb. I mean, Brandon Ayuk is always like right in between that price tier. So I don't know if I want to go there this week with him.
Yeah, he's expensive. I think truthfully, I'm gonna pay for Debo. Like for me, I think Debo would just be an ownership type of play.
Yeah, ownership is gonna play a big role in a lot of the plays that you and I decide on, and all the listeners decide on this week.
But
so
I mean, like Jacksonville is susceptible through the air. Again, they have a really good run defense. Both of these teams are just susceptible through the air. So maybe I need to take a little bit, maybe of a harder look at this game than what I'm giving it credit for.
After out of all the bigger games that are on the slate, that this is probably going to be the lower owned of them. Like, I think people will find a way to Travis Etienne. I think people will find a way to CMC. To a lesser extent, I think people will find a way to Christian Kirk, guys like that. I don't know if Zay Jones is back, but if he is, I would definitely take a dart throw on Zay. I mean, all he does is score touchdowns. When he plays, he's in the box. Simple as that. That's what he does. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, this might be one of those games where you do take just a little harder look at. So we can slide over to tight end. Like we mentioned, the aforementioned George Kittle hits the old peace out meme, and he's off the board for me. But again, if I like Lamar, like I mentioned earlier, I'm going to automatically like Mark Andrews here. What you alluded to earlier about Josh Dobbs and his propensity to throw to tight ends. I mean, 37% of his dropbacks go to tight ends. Like, this dude has the second highest rate to target a tight end in the league. So, I mean, we're talking about $5,000 for TJ Hawkinson, where he's only $500 more expensive than guys like Evan Ingram, $100 more than Dr. Schultz, $700 less than Sam Laporta. I mean, like, if TJ Hawkinson isn't the chalk, I think we're playing DFS wrong.
I actually think the guy below him will be the chalk. I think Dalton Schultz is going to be the chalk.
Oh, I mean, I'm firing up some Dr. Schultz. Don't get it twisted. If CJ Stroud's in the lineup, I'm firing up Dr. Schultz.
I mean, right? And if we're going off of some recency bias here, I mean, Dalton Kincaid had himself a pretty good game against the Bengals as well. We have seen, Dalton Schultz here get peppered lately with targets from Stroud. It seems like they're, starting to get more on the same page. But, I mean, the three tight ends I'm kind of looking at here, I do like some Sam Laporta this week. 5,700 to me is kind of fair. But I also think his price should be higher. I don't understand why he's 5,700 and George Kittle 61. That kind of doesn't make any sense to me, at least. I would think Laporta would be way more expensive than Kittle, but hey, here we are. We mentioned Schultz and Hawkinson. I do like both of those guys. I mean, if you're dart throwing it, I guess Gerald Everett would probably just be my pick there.
Bro, he had one target last game. I'm hot on all that. I'm good, man. Hard pass. I mean, that's a guy that probably should get the ball more, but doesn't. Because it's all about Keenan Allen and Keenan Allen only, baby.
Yeah, it's Keenan Allen and Eckler, but again, it was against the Jets.
Yeah.
So
I know.
I'll at least give that a pass. But yeah, in terms of that, does Trey McBride get a little bit of a boost now with Kyler Murray back?
That's the question. I mean, I really want to wait and see with these Cardinals guys. I think a lot of people see Kyler and they're gonna want to play him. Like him, Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood Brown with Kyler was a top 5 fantasy point producer with Kyler. So it's like, do you go to Trey McBride as well if you're gonna think about double stacking? Maybe, but I mean, he's cheap enough, right? So I can see it.
I mean, on FanDuel, Kyler's priced. Like
On FanDuel.
On DraftKings, he's cheap.
Yeah, on DraftKings, he's cheap. I think a lot of people play him on DraftKings. Like I said, FanDuel got me fucked up, man. Like I just can't consider their algorithm when it comes to certain players. So now that we're in that certain player range, Taysom Hill is 5,100 on DraftKings, which is a great price. Why is he 7K on FanDuel?
Because
he is always overpriced. Do they have this inherent fear that he's going to play quarterback again? Like he's not putting up tight end numbers, but at the same time, he's now a real red zone threat. We've seen over the past 3 weeks, they really want to get Taysom Hill the ball in unique ways. He rushed, he throw in the touchdown from last week. Like the dude is just so touchdown dependent, but he was also their leading rusher again last week. So at 5,100 for a tight end, if you want to pay the extra $100 and get away from the TJ Hawkinson chalk, then yeah. But I'm probably just going to play TJ Hawkinson this week and Dr. Schultz and kind of move on.
I mean, my punt tight end, now that I look at it, is probably going to be Chig.
Don't do that.
I'll play Chig.
Don't do that.
Hey, you just go Will Levis, Chig, and Kyle Phillips. You're solid.
One Will Levis without Nook, Kyle Phillips, and bro, you can play whatever you want.
Oh, that would be too good. You just play a Bucks. You just play Mike Evans at that point, and then
yeah. I mean, I guess
it'd be hilarious.
That would be great. That would be absolutely hilarious. But yeah, I mean, like I said, there's not too many tight ends I would consider this week. I'd probably get off of Cade Otton again because Tennessee they defend the tight end well because their outsides suck so bad. So again, I think, going back to wide receiver a little bit, I think this Mike Evans and Chris Godwin thing is going to be hot this week. I think it's going to be hot.
I agree.
I think it's going to be pretty hot. Jake the Snake got there for us last week. Again, back-to-back solid weeks. But again, I don't know how much this pass game is going to be needed for the Cowboys. So if you have to play Jake the Snake, then that's great. But I don't know. And your boy, is Kyle Pitts going to be involved this week? Or do we just play Gino Smith and call it a day?
Bro, you take a guess and you pray.
Gino Smith is always cheaper and he produces more.
Always.
Just, I don't think anyone ever pulls the trigger on Gino Smith. All we do is complain.
I agree 100%.
So, you know what? I might consider Gino Smith this week. But the week I play him with the week Kyle Pitts will go off.
Right.
So I tell you what, you pick a lineup, whichever one, and you play Kyle Pitts. I'll play Gino Smith, and one of us is going to be happy.
Right.
So, okay, here's what we'll do. We'll run a Kyler lineup together with the run back of either Gino Smith or Kyle Pitts, okay? And then we just work it out from there. And one of us is going to be happy on Sunday. How about that?
I can't because I want to play Trey McBride. If I'm playing Kyler, I'm playing McBride.
Double tight end?
No, absolutely not.
Double tight end, Trey McBride, and Kyle Pitts.
That's so gross.
That's so negative EV. Oh my god!
I'll just play in that lineup. I just play the run back as Bijan with the slappies.
Get with the slappies. That's right. Get with the slappies. Speaking of which, the slap defense in the face real quick. Pay up for the Cowboys.
If you can get to the Cowboys, do it.
That's my take. Find the money to play the Cowboys defense. Don't play anybody else. That's it. Go ahead, Chill. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm punting defense, I kind of don't hate the Cardinals defense at 2,500 against Taylor Heineke.
You saw where punting defense got us last week, Chill.
I didn't play the Giants.
I did.
And
Wah,
this might be a bold take, but is Jacksonville's defense viable here?
I mean, they are still leading. Well, they're tied for the league now in takeaways. So I mean, yeah, this is a ball hawking defense that can actually get after the quarterback extremely well and cause a lot of pressure. So yes, I mean they are tied with the Saints for takeaways. So yes, I mean you can do worse.
Right.
They are at home.
And then I'm kind of looking, nah, that's not. Hold on, let me retract that statement.
There's not much. There's not much, Chill.
I didn't like. Much. I didn't like where I was going with that, so let me take that off the board.
There's not much out there, bro.
No, there's really not. Yeah, just get up to the Cowboys defense.
Just get up.
Or if you can't get up to the Cowboys, get up to the Ravens against Deshaun Watson.
That's another good one too. That's another good one.
I guess it. And then if all else fails, you just play the Browns defense at 3K, where it's been all season.
Yeah, I mean, I think about the Cowboys defense like this week, right? Like, am I going to play some bum $4,200 receiver, or I could just get like 20 points from my defense at 4,200? I would. If the Cowboys defense had a receiver tag next to it, you would play it.
1,000%.
So find the room for. You know what I was thinking the other day? Like, why can't we flex defense?
Play two of them.
Yeah. Why can't we put defense in the flex?
That'd be so funny.
Wouldn't it though? I mean, we could play tight end. We could play. Obviously, you can't play quarterback in flex. That's dumb. But a defense in flex, I think that'd be pretty cool. Because I would flex the Cowboys defense.
What if you just played the Cowboys and the Giants defense? That way you could fit everything.
Brother.
That's probably the issue with that, right?
Not necessarily. I think those salary cap will work out pretty much the same, right? I mean, well, like, so the only thing with defense is that you would have to put the men defense at 2,500.
It's either at 25
you can't do the 21, 22, 23, or else people would do that more often. But if you do it at the men, as like the tight ends are the men for, $2,500, blah, 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 then yeah, I don't see why. I don't see any problem putting two defenses in.
I agree.
Would you flex a defense if that was an option? Would you ever flex a defense? Because I think I would have flexed the Browns defense last week. I would rather play the Browns defense in flex than Darrell Henderson like my dumb ass did.
We both played Darrell Henderson.
And we both failed.
We did fail.
Hardcore.
Yeah, it's definitely a decision.
Yeah, I would consider it. But yeah, like we do, before you guys go, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If you haven't come over to the YouTube version of it, go ahead and type in DFS Deli in that YouTube search bar. And of course, before we get out of here, we got to get that bold take on an early Wednesday, and we'll get you guys out of here. So chill. Something bold.
Bold take. Well, we'll just kind of stick with this. I do believe that this is the DK Metcalf week. My dude's gonna get. He's gonna go over 100 yards. He'll have 2 touchdowns. We'll just go 8 receptions.
For context, DK Metcalf is in the 4-for-4 breakout receiver model as their number 1 breakout candidate. So, and that receiver model has been slapping this year. So, shout out to 4-for-4 on that one. I like that call. I think DK is going to have a good week, especially after his 1 catch, 50-yard performance last week. I think the Seahawks need to bounce back in a big way. And at home in front of the 12s, I think they can get it done. My bold call for this week, either Will Levis or Baker Mayfield, those doubles will be in the Millie Maker lineup. I think these Buccaneers doubles are about to be hot this week.
I like it, except I'm going to get tilted when I see Rachaad White just absolutely get all the stats.
Remember, you're not supposed to be able to run on this team. So let's just do everything through the air and call it a day.
I get it, but Rashad White, that was so tilting. Like, if I had Rashad White in these lineups as the bring back, woo.
I know. I'm with you. I'm samesies. In my little minis, because I was playing Cade Otton. I mean, Cade Otton hit. Cade Otton was slapping.
Yeah, I mean, like, in the lineups where I had Dalton Schultz, I just had, like, Evans or Godwin. Like, that Mike Evans not getting into the end zone on that last, like, 50-yard bomb, that hurt.
Hey, listen, man, here's what you do. You play Baker, you play Evans, you play Godwin, and you run it back with Phillips and load up the running back position.
It's not a bad
Put in Joe Mixon, because you're playing Joe Mixon. You're going to do it. Okay? You're playing the Cowboys defense, and you're playing Tony Pollard.
What if I, instead of Phillips, what if I put in Chig?
I mean, your tight end spot is open in that run back, so yeah, you can do it.
No, wait.
Hear us out. Okay,
no,
all right.
No, right. I'm going to politely tell you you're fucking wrong.
not just wrong. I'm fucking wrong. Okay. All right. Talk to him.
It used to be so much better.
I know, right? I tell you, you're fucking wrong.
I won't mention the show by name, but it used to be better.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, we don't need to put anybody on blast. So yeah. But yeah, at this point, we're gonna go ahead and close up the shop. Again, for the absent and sick Dale, for the technical difficulty having Baker, this has been Chill. I've been your host, Sully Shaheed, and of course, we will see you all at the top. See you on Saturday, boys. Peace.